Welcome back. I'm Phiona Mbowa here at Church of Uganda Family TV with Ring Diaries, where we talk about anything and everything to do with marriage. And today we are privileged to host the newest couple after 25 years, the Bagumas. Thank you very much for your time. And before we went for the break, they were telling us about the covenant of marriage. And it's just shocking me how we have taken it so lightly, and it's a very, very deeply. Do you think that people who get married actually understand this? What we are getting into, do we understand it?
I think sometimes we don't get it. Some people, depending on where they are doing counseling from or the background, the training. I know there are some churches that are really strong and they take the couple through counseling for 4 months, 6 months. You know, there are those who enter into it and they know, but there are also those who join it and they are not. Yes, because if you asked me those 25 years when we were starting, I didn't know. I didn't understand the covenant I was putting myself into, because during our years we knew that, as a girl, you grow up, you go to school, after finishing, you go and marry. So there wasn't anything of, and then when you get there, because sometimes during our years you would even be connected. Someone says, some so and so's daughter have you seen, and somehow there is that go between, and then you get married when you have not had. So it's like that is how you thought it was, without really going into knowing the details.
Look, but then even now, Mrs. Baguma, you see the verse that we read before. Actually, a man's prayers cannot be answered if you make your wife sad. I don't know if people, like for me, that is actually why I paused and actually looked. Like if I am unhappy, Mr. Mbowa's prayers cannot be answered.
Yes.
Do we understand that, married people? The length of the covenant we are going, like we are actually making.
But also, you see, if God could not break his covenant he made with Noah, if God's covenant, he takes the covenant very, very serious, then we need to really look at it as very, very serious. We shouldn't feel like, I'm going there
just
and
for
then
the
just for the
decoration
and the nice dress, but it is a commitment, a lifelong, until death does us apart. That is how serious it is. And therefore, before you go into it, for those singles who could be watching this program, I want to let you know that marriage is a beautiful thing. This covenant we are talking about, it is godly. However, when you go there, commit. You have to really be committed to staying in there. Yes, there are moments when you are going to be challenged. Sometimes you don't know what life brings. I have seen some couples where one of the spouses is sick. Not 1 year, no 5 years. But then you are not jumping out of this because of the commitment, because of the sacrifice that you have to make.
So the covenant of marriage comes with sacrifice.
Yes, it does come with sacrifice. If not, you are not willing to sacrifice,
you're in the wrong institution.
You are in the wrong institution.
Yeah, from also, in addition to what you have, what was intriguing to you, that your prayers may not be heard.
Oh my God.
This calls on men to always be careful with their wives, so that if you make your spouse unhappy and you are always in conflict, it may
interfere
with your prayers.
This is an eye opener. So marriage, apart from being a covenant of sacrifice, what else is it?
Yeah, the other aspect is that marriage is a covenant of sharing. In a marriage relationship, there is always an aspect of sharing all aspects, sharing your body, sharing your income, sharing your
especially
debts.
Income. People, you need to hear that. We need to share income. Those things of the woman's money. Do you have some of that woman's money?
Personally, I don't believe in sente z'ekikazi, so I may be the wrong person to do, because in a marriage, companionship, did we say a covenant of sharing? A covenant of sharing. You are sharing. If we could look at 1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 4.
1 Corinthians
chapter 7 verse 4. So it is like when you share, you are sharing everything. Look at like what my husband has talked about. You are sharing the body, okay? But in addition to the body, you are sharing everything. So when you marry and you have the car, it's no longer my car. It is our car. It's no longer my house. It is our house. It's no longer my property. It is our property, because you are agreeing to share and be one.
So even the money is our
money. It is our money.
Actually, all our possessions, all the families and the children, in addition to everything you have, they all become ours. And it is no longer yours, not mine, but ours.
That's interesting.
So if you are married and you still have that thing of like chino change, sente zange,
I came with this guy in this marriage, I'm not giving the a lift when
there is also when I have heard, really, when it comes to finances, what you have talked about, when I have heard people say that looking at the income, the money in a family, that the money for the man is ours.
Yes.
But then the money for the woman
is
mine alone.
Yep. You said 1 Corinthians 7 verse 4.
Yes.
The wife does not have authority over her own body, but yields it to her husband. In the same way, the husband does not have authority over his own body, but yields it to his wife.
Yes, thank you so much. So as we even share here, all I have, it belongs to him. This body is his. His body is mine. So if we can reach that point of sharing and saying whatever he has is mine and what, then why not the money?
This is what I don't understand with people.
Why not the money?
If I can give you my body,
yes.
Now what is Ugandan shillings?
Yes. So that means all we have. It is a covenant of sharing. You know, like he mentioned about relatives. Your people become my people. His people become my people. And therefore, when we look at it in that way, I know sometimes why the sharing of money becomes a big problem. I want to bring here the area of trust, because once you break trust, then it becomes difficult to trust again, to build that trust. I think I have had maybe ladies where they have opened up and they have shared everything they had, and then along the way they find that the man has misused it, and it is vice versa. The man gives the lady this other money and they think they are building things together. Then he discovers that he's building her home, and then the trust is broken. And then the moment trust is broken, it becomes very hard to really build it. So I think in a marriage covenant, even when we are saying it is a covenant of sharing, I think we need as couples to work so hard on trust. And then when we trust, if we believe, we agree, for example, that we are going to do this together, let's not do it. Let's do it. But the moment you do the otherwise, you are creating that gap where trust is lost, and yet it becomes very difficult to bring it back.
Then another aspect to consider is that once you have shared, you need to be careful not to use what you have received from the other against them.
Okay.
For instance, if you have shared your money and I'm using the money against you, for instance, I'm using the money in things which you don't believe in things you don't approve or second, then it becomes a challenge. You lose the trust of what you have received. So once you have shared your all you have shared your money, you have shared your strength in supporting the other couple. You have to use what you have received appropriately, because
you
don't abuse it. Because like my wife says, that's the source of breaking the trust.
Problems, yes.
Once you have received the money, make accountability. Say, we received this money from your account, we have used it for this. I'm giving you this one to use, and then you can find a way of always making an accountability, so that you can always get the same thing that you have received. Then also you have to always avoid the verbal attacks against your spouse, as a means of having received the sharing from.
So we don't take the sharing for granted.
You don't take the sharing for granted. The point I need is that what you say protects your spouse.
Oh, yes.
In a way that when you are sharing in a covenant marriage, you have shared everything. You even share the words you use. Your words are always to protect your spouse. Because if you do not protect, it means you are destroying, and you are not sharing. Because if you have received from someone and then you don't have kind words about them from
then you're not actually
when you're in the
sharing.
public, then you are not sharing. So you should always, in a way of like sharing, use the right words again on your spouse. Use the correct words so that you cherish them, and in a way it's a kind of sharing.
Yeah.
Okay. And that brings us to another point of a covenant as a friendship.
Covenant should be. I like
should
that.
be a friendship. When you have your friend, you don't usually talk bad about them.
Yes.
You don't usually have to backbite them.
Even extend more grace to our friends.
Yeah.
You can
That is
understand.
very,
They
very
hurt you.
important.
You forgive them easy.
You forgive them
Then
easily.
the poor man does something and you keep it for a year
And
and
keep
a
a
half.
record of wrongs.
Mm.
So extending grace actually is something that is very, very important. Because in marriage, if you don't extend grace, then you can't manage, because every day there is something a spouse will do which you least expect. And therefore, if you don't extend grace, every day you are annoyed, every day you are
adding to the
criticizing,
yesterday.
and you are adding to the yesterday, and which is not healthy for the marriage. It's not healthy for the marriage. It's not healthy for you. It's not healthy if God has blessed you with children. It's not even healthy to see those fights within a home, a godly home.
So how do we create the friendship you're talking about?
The friendship, you create it in what you do all the time. Have you ever been with someone else and he talks bad about his wife or his?
That one doesn't even need to be. You hear people and you're worried.
Usually, it comes when someone wants to do something wrong. He begins by talking bad about his very spouse.
Yes.
Then, in a way, that is breaking a spiritual bondage which he has with his spouse. If the devil wants to weaken you, he will first make you talk bad about your spouse, because you want to win another one. Then you talk bad
About this one.
so that one will enable you to move along with this new one, because in your vocabulary, in your words, you are breaking the former one with your words, talking to this other one. So it is usually first important that you guard your words. If you are using bad words, against your spouse, then it means you are breaking up the covenant, because you should always be talking good about them, building them, covering them. If they are naked, clothing them all the time.
I want to add on what he has said. You have talked about building relationship in that covenant. You continue to learn your spouse. You speak their language. Like you get to know what language, what makes him happy, what annoys him. Along the way, when you get to know that when I do these things, they are not going to make him happy, you try to do, because it is related to sacrifice. We have already talked about sacrifice. You may love them, but if you see that they are causing friction, because you can leave them, because this is your friend, and your friend, you try to do good to them. In most cases, we try to do good to people who are outside of our home, and then the people at home, they are suffering, and which is not correct. So get to understand your spouse's language. Get to do the things that you used to do that are good. Is it going out like the way we have gone out and you have a soda together? Is it a time to play and to play together? It doesn't mean that the 20 years you have spent in marriage, you can't go out, play together, you know. Look at those things that can bring interest. They can bring you together. Sometimes we skip a rope together, and our children now have grown, but they are counting and they are laughing. They are laughing and so look for things you can do together that can bond you together.
The same way we do for friends.
The same way. Is it gifts? Is it like my language? Love language is gifts. Even if it is not something big, you can do that.
And I know you've thought about.
So those things of those words he's talking about. When did men who are there? When did your spouse last year that I love you? You look beautiful. You look amazing. I love that. And even us as ladies, when did you last cook that special meal for your spouse? It's really looking at these things for our spouses that can build us, that can strengthen our relationships. If we used to send those messages now you are talking about, where are the messages now? We still need them because
I need my letters.
we need those messages. So look out for those things that can spark, that can continue to bring that bond together, that excitement, and then you look forward to each other, looking at each other. Even as you grow together, yes, the changes will be there. Yes. But even with the changes, be happy with those changes. Embrace them and share together, because it's part of life. Yeah. Then when challenges will come. The Bible didn't tell us that things are going to be kuseye, but even in the challenges, continue to hold each other, continue to build each other. Like, get to know, like my husband has supported me, like for example at my place of work, like writing reports. Get to see the strength of your spouse. Where can you come in to support them so that you flourish together as a family? So even the work you do, because at the end of the day, it's the family. The bond of two. You cannot just easily break it. Once the two decide to work together, then you cannot just penetrate. But another thing that we are talking about is the covenant of companionship, which is Genesis chapter 2 verse 18, where God says it is not good for a man to be alone. So it is that companionship which we talked about, whereby your spouse is not there, you feel lonely, you are looking.
As looking at 25, where I will be missing.
When I'm not home these days, and I'm like, even if it is a day, my husband is calling. Where are you? When are you coming back? It is now that companionship, and when the way that God has done it, it's like you continue to miss each other, and you want the other person to be there. But marriage, you have to be intentional. Yes. That covenant, you have to be intentional. The way you look after your garden, and you look after the flowers, you water your flowers, you add different things, you weed. So this is how you have to really care for your marriage. To see whatever that is not unwanted, you remove it. And then you add what you continue. Like you are investing into it. You are investing into it. If you want something good, you must put in for it.
Three things that
Yes.
don't exist.
Maybe in addition to putting in and being intentional is to have a self-discipline and get to know that I need this marriage. I have to be doing this all the time, and in some extent you need to be satisfied with what you have.
If this is the man I have,
This is what
whether
I
the other
have.
looks like how, this is mine.
Yeah.
Comparison kills marriages, and it has been killing
And
marriages.
a good scenario to take care of is when you are beginning your marriage or your relationship, you all look nice and you like each other. And when as time moves on,
After 13 years, things
after
have
13
changed.
years, things have changed.
Yes.
So why do you have to leave your partner and go
Because things have
to something
changed.
Things
else?
have changed, but sometimes it's because it's you. Because
Who has
like for
caused
who
that
has
change?
caused the
That's
change.
true.
And so you have to embrace the change together and work, encourage each other, you know, in that change. And therefore you move forward. Yes. Then I was talking also about that comparison. Sometimes what breaks that covenant relationship we are talking about is that comparison. When I reach somewhere and then I look at my husband and I'm like, I wish it was, you know, the other. And yet I can't have the other.
What I have is
so
you.
it fits into what my husband is saying. Be satisfied
Yes.
with the woman that you have, that God
Of your
gave you,
youth.
the woman of your youth. Be satisfied with the husband that God gave you. Sometimes you are not satisfied, but other people somewhere they are like, we wish.
I wish I had Mr. Baguma. You know?
Yes. So it is to ask God to help you really appreciate.
Give us a spirit of
spirit.
contentment,
Yes.
by the way. I think that is important.
Yeah.
And our time is running out. But I wanted us to talk about how do we cultivate those some of the things we have. Because most of us are in a covenant.
Yes.
We're already there. How do we make it work? What are the things that we can do to make it work?
Yes. Maybe giving from our example, what can make it work? First, you need patience. Patience with the environment you are living in. Patience with your status. Patience with the person you have. Patience with the community. Because if you don't have patience, you will jump to some other things. Like my wife has said, you'll jump to comparison and then you'll end up picking what you can't afford. But because you want it, then you will lose out even what you have.
On what you have, yes.
Then the other aspect can be you need perseverance in life.
In those tough times.
Yes, because not every day will be a good day. Like there is summer and there is winter.
That's true.
So seasons will have to come and they will change. Either seasons will change on your life, or you'll have a job, you will not have it. You'll be having money, you will not be having money. So you need to persevere in. But thank God, He promises if you work hard, I will bless the work of your hand.
Interesting.
So being patient and persevering and trusting God in all can really help. Let me ask my wife to add on something.
I just wanted to add forgiveness. Being quick to forgive and not holding on to not keeping a record of wrongs. Because, you know, like I said, we have different temperaments, your spouse sometimes may annoy you, may hurt you unknowingly, or even knowingly. But then if you are not too quick to forgive and to let go, then you will continue to be affected. When you read research, you read these things of psychology, the cancers, the high blood pressures and all that, those things, it's because people keep so much a record of wrongs. And so this person is who you are with every day. And so if you learn to forgive and then let go, then you will flourish. Even be happy. And also it's a choice. You really choose what is it that you want in this marriage. If you choose, like, I'm going to make this marriage work, it will work. But if you choose, like, I really don't sagala chino, like, in a short time it will. So making a choice that I'm going to make this marriage work. But on top of that, yes, the perseverance, the forgiveness, all these things we are talking about, but putting God at the center. Because, even when you feel like, now I can't cry, I can't lean on him because he's annoyed me, but you can run to God and you cry to God, and he will help you. He will encourage you. I also want to say that attend marriage fellowships.
Oh,
yes, fellowships and a source of support, social support.
Surround yourself with
you really
fellow
need
married.
social support. I may be struggling through something, and then I go into to the marriage fellowship and I see someone has gone through the same, but they are moving forward. So like, again, go for fellowship, invest into things, resources that can build your marriage, whether it is books, whether it is these friendships we are talking about, whether you always set, even if God has blessed you, you can even set aside some little money to, is it a book? Is it going out?
Taking
outside for a weekend and, to have lunch together, you invest in your what? In your marriage. And then obviously putting God first, then pray for your marriage. Like we said at the start, marriage is is on the enemy fights marriages. It is under attack. The marriage family is under attack. The devil is fighting children, is fighting marriages. So if you are not in the presence of the Lord, you can easily fall away. But once you trust God, you depend on the word of God, you pray, then God will help you and your marriage will stick together.
Maybe there's one important thing which I cannot leave out is that not everything good that you need it or you must have it.
Not everything good.
Everything that is good, it is not a must that you must have it or be. You need to be with it. No. Some things can be good, but they may not be yours.
For you, yes.
So it drives you to getting satisfied with what you have.
Thank you very much. At time, I think Brinko is stealing our time, but I think it's fast spent. But thank you very much for your time, Mr. and Mrs. Baguma, and for this amazing discussion that I think we should continue another time. And thank you very much for our viewers. As you've heard, the commitment is about sharing. It is about, it's a divine commitment. So be able to work at it, share, care, support each other, and be contented with the person you have. I mean, God, you made a covenant with God with that person. So let us honor these covenants to the glory of His name. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Phiona Mbowa here at Church of Uganda Family TV with Ring Diaries.